Sup guys, Border here, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, we're here to clear something up. Possibly the biggest misconception that newer players face when joining Albion Online. Now, I've probably seen this question asked about 5 or more times a week. I've seen it in game, I've seen it on Reddit, I've seen it on YouTube, Discord, the list goes on. So this is the classic question. It goes something like this.
Hey guys, what is the best weapon/build in the game?
And I have some news for you guys. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it does not exist. So we're going to dive a little deeper as to why that may be. But before we get into that, I want to invite you guys to join in on this video's giveaway. I'll be giving away 7 days of premium to one lucky winner. So to sign up for a chance to win this prize, all you need to do is subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment your in-game name in the comments below. And with your comment, I want to hear your guys' worst build idea possible. I want to hear a build that's just useless, doesn't work, no value, so wrong answers only, with your in-game name. And the person with the worst build idea is going to win the 7 days of premium. So stay tuned for that. But with that brief introduction out of the way, let's get into the video. Alrighty guys, and back to answering the question of what is the best build/weapon in the game. So when it comes to Albion Online, it's not your typical MMO. You're not going to just have 1 or 2 builds and be good for the rest of the game. With Albion Online, you're going to have different builds depending on what kind of content you do. So when it comes to builds in Albion Online, there really is no one shoe fits all. Because some builds are good for PvE, some builds are good for PvP, and then even with PvP there's solo play, there's small scale, medium scale, large scale, all the way up to Zerg versus Zerg. So you really need to know what kind of content you want to do before you go asking what is the best build for set content. So let's go over a couple examples to help you further understand what kind of content suits what builds. So let's take a look at this build for example number 1. So we have the Great Axe, the biggest Chad weapon in the game, and for the rest of the build we have Mage Cowl, Stalker Jacket, Royal Sandals, and whatever else. So here we are farming out camps in the mist, which is very strong for PvE. This build allows us to deal large AoE, or area of effect damage, allowing us to cleave down all the mobs in a radius extremely quick. So this is good for PvE. Now, does this mean I would want to take this exact same build and put it in a 1 versus 1 PvP environment? The answer is no, because this build that we just discussed is purely made for PvE, for its AoE damage. So if we were to want to play PvP in a small scale or a 1v1 environment, we would want to change our build entirely. Alright, moving on to our second example. Since I just mentioned 1 versus 1 or small scale PvP builds, I'm going to give you a demonstration of one right here. This is the Battle Axe, with the rest of the build being a torch, a hunter hood, mercenary jacket, and a soldier boots. A very common, strong, small scale PvP build. And you'll find that the common scheme with these builds for that content is single target focus damage. So keep an eye out for that when you're looking at builds. Now some of you just getting into Albion, or maybe others who have a limited amount of playing time that don't have enough time to fame farm grind multiple weapons, might be looking just to get into one weapon that is flexible enough to do both a little bit of PvP and a little bit of PvE. Lucky for you, there are certain weapons that have the capability to do so within the restrictions of certain content. So, like the Battle Axe that we just discussed, we talked about how it can do PvP, small scale content, which it can very much do. It can also do a very hefty amount of PvE, solo, allowing you to solo a lot of high scale PvE dungeons and whatnot. So this would be a prime example of a weapon that can do both PvP and PvE. But I don't think I'm going to go much more in depth with this video, as I know there might be beginner players trying to learn about builds, so I don't want to confuse you. But if you can take anything away from this video, I'd want it to be this. If you plan on doing multiple forms of content in Albion Online, I'd encourage you to be prepared to have multiple sets of gear, as I want to save you the embarrassment of bringing a small scale weapon such as a Battle Axe into a large scale PvP environment such as a Zerg versus Zerg. So if you're a beginner player or someone just looking to further your understanding of builds in Albion Online, just remember it's a good thing to ask questions. There's lots of knowledgeable people that will help you out in game, Discords, YouTube comments, or even Reddit. But just remember, it's about asking the right questions. So instead of, next time going and saying, hey, what's the best build or weapon in the game? Instead of doing that, ask something like this. If you know you're looking to get into small scale or solo PvP, ask that instead. Be like, hey guys, what's the best solo scale PvP build that you would recommend me? And that will narrow down the question a lot more. So people will really appreciate that. So the next time you see something like that in a Reddit thread, comment, post, whatever, I'd invite you to link them this video instead of replying so they can get a better understanding of what the best build or weapon is in the game. But I think I'm going to leave it at that. I know this was a bit of a shorter video, so I apologize for that. But let me know in the comments what you guys want to see more of in terms of content. I'll read through the comments, and then we can go from there. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all your support and dedication to this channel. It means a lot to me. Love you guys. Make sure to sign up for the giveaway. I really want to read through your guys' comments and see who can come up with the worst build possible for the 7 days of premium. So, looking forward to that. But, as always, this was Border with Scripted Gaming and the Great Axe Club. Until next time, stay safe, stay positive, and I'll see you in the Discord.